Is it possible that a single name could cause the world's largest ticketing system to stumble, stall, and even appear fragile in a matter of fractions of a second? And could that name, without appearing on screen, without a speech, without any signal, be Jungkook? This question initially sounds exaggerated, almost provocative, even bordering on clickbait, until a video lasting less than half a minute completely overturns all rational assumptions about how the global concert industry operates. In a world long reliant on algorithms, layered servers, and virtual queue technology, a 0.3-second moment emerges as an anomaly that invites suspicion, emotion, and even academic debate simultaneously. Was Ticketmaster truly broken? Or are we witnessing an explosion of cultural magnetism that can no longer be measured by old standards? The video at the center of this vortex first circulated on the platform X, uploaded by the fan account at J1000_. In an instant, the post spread beyond fandom circles, entering broader public discourse on the attention economy, emotional capital, and the limits of technology when confronted with a globally coordinated mass bound by a single cultural identity called BTS. In the video, the ticketing app screen displaying BTS ARIRANG World Tour becomes the stage for a collective drama unfolding too quickly to be casually dissected. The user is seen entering the queue at position 1, a number that feels psychologically calming, even offering the false hope that luck has finally taken their side. But the very next tap changes everything. The numbers jump brutally, from dozens to hundreds, from hundreds to tens of thousands, then surpassing 240,000, as if the queue is not moving but exploding. What follows becomes the core of the narrative that sparked the major questions above. A notification appears on the screen reading, "Silpe Medellin," which means reservation failed, sold out, accompanied by a timestamp of plus 0.395 seconds, less than half a second, in a single breath. In a single heartbeat, the emotions following that moment are clearly recorded, not only in the crying emojis displayed, but in the reactions of millions of viewers who felt the same collective frustration. The caption accompanying the post, "Oh God, how can they do it faster than that? PLSS manifesting for their tickets," is not merely an expression of disappointment, but a form of modern prayer born from the intersection of hope, technology, and the power of a global fandom as of now. The video has been viewed more than 1 million times, flooded with thousands of likes and reposts, and has sparked increasingly wild speculation. Is this proof that Ticketmaster failed to anticipate the surge in demand? Or is it the clearest evidence yet of the scale of BTS's post-hiatus appeal? Now returning with a world tour titled ARIRANG? In an academic context, this moment is fascinating because it illustrates how even systems designed for extreme scenarios still have saturation points when faced with nonlinear cultural phenomena. Demand no longer rises gradually, it spikes exponentially, driven by a global community that has prepared itself long before the buy button is ever activated. The ARIRANG tour itself is no ordinary tour. It is a symbol of return. After years of hiatus due to the members' mandatory military service, BTS re-emerges not only intact, but laden with meaning. The tour schedule, planned to begin in April 2026, spans dozens of cities across North America and Europe, with Asia likely to follow, and includes iconic venues such as SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles and Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Each named city is not merely a point on a map, but an economic and emotional magnet that drives millions of people to prepare, save money, and construct layered digital strategies. Entertainment industry projections cite figures that border on the absurd. Up to 6 million tickets are potentially expected to sell, with ticket sales revenue alone estimated to exceed $1 billion. These numbers position ARIRANG not merely as a music tour, but as a macroeconomic event whose impact spills over into hospitality, transportation, and local tourism sectors in host cities. In this context, failing to obtain a ticket is not just missing a concert, it is losing access to a historic event believed unlikely to ever repeat at the same scale. The Army membership presale, beginning around January 22nd to 23rd, 2026 depending on region, becomes the most crucial and most controversial phase. Many fans complain that ticketing systems, particularly Ticketmaster, do not disclose ticket prices or venue layouts until the very last seconds. This practice forces Army to make financial decisions under extreme pressure, where rational calculation directly competes with emotional impulse. Within minutes, or as demonstrated by the video, within fractions of a second, tickets can vanish without leaving room to breathe. This tension even spills over to other platforms. The ARMY Global Virtual Membership on Weverse was at one point temporarily displayed as sold out. Another anomaly, considering digital products technically have no quantity limits. For many fans, this moment feels as though the digital world itself is struggling to handle an uncontrollable wave of demand. Reactions on X flood timelines. Some laugh at their fate, others cry openly, and some interpret it all as a sign. One user wrote that they had to buy BTS membership twice and felt extremely lucky, believing it was an omen that tickets would eventually fall into their hands. Another user, in a half-desperate tone, asked whether tickets are usually already sold out during pre-sales, as if trying to measure just how fast one's reflexes must be to survive this digital war. This instant sellout phenomenon does not emerge from a vacuum. It is reinforced by fresh collective memory of the ARIRANG album pre-order, reportedly selling out in just 30 minutes on Weverse US, before any concept leaks at all. No visuals, no detailed teasers, just a name and belief. In consumer behavior studies, this is an extreme case in which the brand, or in this case the artist, has surpassed the need for product information altogether. Trust and emotional attachment replace every other variable. For ARMY in Indonesia and Asia more broadly, ARIRANG hangs as a hope suspended between rumor and speculation. While the full Asia schedule has yet to be officially announced, anticipation has already reached boiling point. Multi-device strategies are prepared, internet connections tested repeatedly, and fan forums filled with discussions on how to beat the system. Beneath all of this lies a quiet awareness that obtaining a ticket is not only about speed, but also luck, a modern form of manifestation, as expressed in the viral video. And here, the opening question echoes once again with deeper intensity. Is Jungkook, as one of BTS's central figures, symbolically the trigger that makes Ticketmaster appear to collapse in 0.3 seconds? Or is this simply the cumulative result of years of BTS's cultural capital construction, finally reaching its critical mass? A definitive answer may take time to formulate, but one thing is undeniable. That brief moment has opened a vast discussion about technological limits, fandom power, and how music, emotion, and global systems collide in ways we never previously imagined. This is only the beginning of a much larger story, a story of how a world tour called ARIRANG is reshaping how we understand value, time, and the meaning of sold out in the digital era. Since the word pre-sale was announced, the atmosphere within the ARMY community has shifted dramatically. This is no longer a sweet phase of anticipation, but a state of full alert that resembles preparations for a digital military operation. Conversations on forums and social media have moved away from artistic speculation about the ARIRANG concept toward almost obsessive technical discussions. Which devices are the most stable? Which browsers are the lightest? Whether incognito mode truly helps? How to refresh without being detected as a bot? And the best times to log in before the queue opens. All of this is happening even before Ticketmaster has released ticket prices or venue layouts, creating a paradoxical situation in which consumers are forced to prepare to purchase something they do not yet fully understand. In behavioral economics, this condition is known as decision-making under extreme uncertainty, but it rarely occurs on such a global and emotionally charged scale. ARMY are not merely buying concert tickets, they are buying a symbolic experience, a promised reunion with BTS, after a long hiatus laden with psychological weight due to mandatory military service. The uncertainty surrounding prices only intensifies the urgency. When prices are concealed until the final seconds, only two extreme options remain: take the financial risk, or lose an opportunity that may come only once in a lifetime. This is where Ticketmaster begins to become the target of collective anger. Many fans feel that the virtual queue system lacks transparency, as if queue numbers jump without any clear logic of cause and effect. The experience of watching one's position change from one to hundreds of thousands within seconds creates the illusion that an invisible hand is operating behind the scenes. Speculation quickly emerges, ranging from accusations of bot activity, hidden prioritization for certain parties, to theories that servers are deliberately restricting access to maintain stability. Yet for ARMY sitting trembling in front of their screens, such theories do little to ease the emotional wound caused by a sold-out notification that appears too quickly to be fully processed. Reactions on Platform X reflect a broad emotional spectrum, from near hysterical euphoria to raw, exposed despair. A post from a fan claiming to have purchased BTS membership more than once to increase their chances is not an anomaly, but rather a symptom of what sociologists describe as escalation of commitment. The greater the investment already made, time, money, emotion, the stronger the drive to persist, even as the probability of success diminishes. In this context, the statement, "This is a sign that I will take those tickets," is not merely optimism bias, but a psychological mechanism to preserve sanity under extreme pressure. Conversely, the innocent question from a user asking whether tickets are usually sold out even during pre-sales reflects the anxiety of a generation of fans perhaps encountering the scale of the BTS fandom for the first time. The answers they receive, whether explicit or implicit, tend to be brutal. Yes, this is normal, and this is only the beginning. The fact that the ARIRANG album pre-order previously sold out in 30 minutes without a single concept leak serves as historical evidence that ARMY's purchasing power has surpassed traditional marketing logic. The name BTS, and particularly the aura now surrounding the ARIRANG project, is sufficient to trigger millions of spontaneous transactions. Interestingly, this phenomenon also creates domino effects that are not entirely within the control of either the agency or the ticketing platform. The ARMY Global Virtual Membership on Weverse being temporarily marked as sold out demonstrates how even digital systems can be swept into mass panic. A product that is theoretically unlimited suddenly experiences restrictions, whether due to demand spikes or internal security mechanisms. For fans, this moment feels deeply symbolic. Even access to the front door of the BTS universe becomes a brutally competitive arena. On another front, the entertainment industry is beginning to read signals far larger than mere pre-sale chaos. Cities listed in the initial ARIRANG tour schedule have already seen surges in hotel bookings since the first announcement, long before concert dates are even finalized. Airlines, travel platforms, and local tourism sectors are preparing for an influx driven by a single factor: BTS. This is concrete proof that the tour is not just a music event, but an economic catalyst capable of mobilizing entire urban ecosystems. Yet behind the numbers and projections lies a far more personal emotional narrative. For many ARMY, especially in Asia including Indonesia, ARIRANG carries an almost romantic weight of hope. It is not simply a world tour. It is the possibility of witnessing a reunion, of becoming part of history, of restoring a connection that was interrupted by time and national obligations. When tickets vanish in fractions of a second, the sense of loss feels disproportionate to the object lost, because what disappears is not merely a stadium seat, but a dream cultivated over many years. Increasingly, analysts are posing sharper questions. Is the current ticket distribution model capable of handling a global fandom that is organized, emotionally driven, and highly technologically literate? Or do we need a new paradigm that recognizes phenomena like BTS as existing beyond the category of major artists, requiring an entirely different systemic approach? At this point, the accusation that Jungkook broke Ticketmaster may sound exaggerated, but as a metaphor, it reflects the failure of old systems to accurately read a new reality. And so we arrive at the quietest yet loudest point of this entire saga, a moment of collective reflection after the dust of the ticket war slowly settles, when the original question resurfaces with greater weight. Is this truly about Jungkook? Or is the world witnessing the collapse of the illusion that technology is always one step ahead of humanity? The figure of 0.3 seconds, which initially seemed like a mere technical detail, has now transformed into a symbol, not only of speed, but of the global system's unpreparedness to confront cultural power that has surpassed the limits of statistical prediction. Jungkook's name repeatedly emerges in this discourse not because he technically pressed any button, but because he represents the peak of BTS's magnetism in the post-military era. In the public eye, Jungkook is the face of continuity, a figure bridging BTS's past and future, and in the collective imagination of ARMY, his mere presence is enough to trigger digital hysteria. Thus, when ARIRANG tickets disappeared in fractions of a second, a personal narrative formed organically, as if this one name possessed the power to break Ticketmaster. This narrative may be technically inaccurate, but sociologically it makes perfect sense. This is where modern myth takes shape. In digital society, myths no longer emerge from oral legends, but from screenshots, short videos, and timestamps that feel inhuman. The Medellin, sold-out notification appearing under 0.395 seconds becomes a cultural artifact, saved, shared, and discussed as evidence that we live in an era where demand can move faster than the capacity of systems designed to control it. Ticketmaster, long positioned as the final fortress of global concert distribution, suddenly appears fragile, not because it is truly broken, but because it fails to deliver an experience perceived as fair and transparent by millions of fans. For the entertainment industry, this incident is a loud alarm. Ticket sales models based on first-come, first-served virtual queues are increasingly being questioned for their relevance. When millions of verified accounts, high-speed internet connections, and extreme mental preparedness collide within the same second, the result is no longer healthy competition, but an emotional lottery. For ARMY, successfully obtaining tickets is no longer associated with preparation, but with destiny, manifestation, or pure luck. Rational language is replaced by a modern spiritual vocabulary, a psychological survival mechanism within a system that feels impossible to defeat. In Asia, including Indonesia, the echoes of this event feel especially personal. BTS's absence over the past several years has created a collective longing that has now reached its peak. For many fans, failing to secure tickets is not just about disappointment, but about alienation, as if they are being left behind from a historic moment that can only be witnessed through someone else's screen. Yet paradoxically, this failure strengthens community bonds, creating spaces to share wounds, bitter laughter, and hope for the next opportunity. Ironically, the system that fails to deliver tickets succeeds in deepening fandom solidarity. Questions about the future become inevitable. Will the ARIRANG incident force major reforms in the global ticketing system? Or will it pass as simply the price to be paid for being part of a phenomenon as massive as BTS? The answer remains suspended, but one thing is certain. Those 0.3 seconds will continue to be remembered, discussed, and cited as the moment when the boundaries between technology, emotion, and popular culture truly collapsed.